I have something to complain about, as always.
Alrighty.
And you're slightly familiar with it, but I'm going to go more in depth. I have started reading again, like pretty significantly. Like I bought a 500-page book and I finished it in 3 days.
Wow.
And then I bought the 600-book sequel or 600-page sequel and finished that in 4 days.
You're obsessed.
Yeah, so
nerd.
I'm a big nerd reader right now, and my sister is as well. She did basically the same thing, except she travels a lot for work and all this other stuff. So she does mostly audiobooks.
Yeah. And
just plays them while she's traveling. And while doing so, I went on TikTok and I went on Book Talk because I understood that it was like, oh, I could probably get some good recommendations from people that read more than I do. And before I went on that specifically, I found one guy that I really, really like. All his recommendations were really good, and I've read a bunch of them and been some of my favorite books so far. Then I went on Book Talk, and I'm like, oh, let's see what other people have to say. It's all smut.
Yeah, it's awful.
All smut, literally, and I have no problem. Let's get this out of the way. I have no problem if you want to read smutty books or just smut in general, but don't glaze it so hard that you trick yourself into thinking that this is like an amazing book.
That it's literature.
That it's like something that everybody else needs to read. Don't joke yourself into thinking that you need to recommend this book to others.
They're almost always awful. You know, I do have a problem with them because they have no taste. They have no quality of standard. They have nothing.
That's right.
It's so spicy. And then I have beef. I have endless beef with Book Talk.
And I've recently figured this out. You knew, apparently.
I did. I watched the downfall of Book Talk. It used to be good.
That's what you said. And I was hoping it was, it would return to form eventually. But now it's literally, I sent this to you. Someone called it mental masturbation.
Yeah.
It's just literally, like you said, no quality checking, no like bar to hold things to. It's just smut, and that's it.
Poorly written smut, even.
Poorly written smut, and I can look at the book that they're recommending and see from how they do the cover that it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
And that it's all smut. It's just bad smut. I found one that was not on before I was on TikTok. That was a really, really, really good book that my sister recommended to me. It has some smut in it, but it's not a smut book.
Yeah.
But it's also on Book Talk now that I'm kind of perusing through that. But they're not even glazing that one that hard. They're like, oh yeah, that's a really good book, but look at this other thing that's like all smut. Just look at this. I like this.
Fucking every 2 chapters.
This is okay. I like this, but look at this. Yeah. So the one that I read that was really good, it had 3 chapters that had some smut in them, spaced out throughout the book. And it was like hardcore smut. Like it was going, right? They were doing stuff. Although they said like when the guy when the girl asks like, hey, come now, right? Like, I want you to come or whatever. They said C-O-U-M or sorry, C-O-M-E. They spelled it as like, I want you to come here. And I'm like, is that like actually how it's spelled? And like C-U-M is a slang?
Well, maybe. No, I don't know.
But I don't
like
I'm
doubting it.
I would rather use the slang, even if it's not correct, because it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just like, I don't remember what the actual line was, but it was just like, they used the word come as C-O-M-E. Like, what is going on?
The editor missed that one.
This makes me so uncomfortable. The rest of the book is solid, though. It's great.
Oh, Book Talk.
That's my adventure into Book Talk. It's not a good time.
It's filth. Authors pro advice. When you insert your fetishes into the work, it's supposed to be thinly veiled, not just your fetishes on a platter. Yeah, ham-fisted.
And trust me, there's plenty of fisting going on.
Too much.
Too much. And both of us, you and I, are completely fine with smut. Like, in the proper setting. Where it's appropriate, when it's good, also. It can't be just smut for smut's sake. It has to be tasteful.
I think I read a quote from one because Julia sends me her shitty book talk recommendations all the time to complain about them.
Okay.
And it's like the lady, she bit the headboard and she left teeth marks in it.
What the fuck?
And people were raving about it, like, oh my god, that's the sexiest thing ever. I'm like, what?
I'm like, no, that's some fucking feral behavior.
She's having a bad time, I think.
Oh, yeah. She's a prisoner. She's being tortured. Oh, that's not.
Oh my goodness.
No, the good stuff is like when, they say like the toes curl or something. That's when not biting a fucking headboard.
Break your fucking teeth.
Fucking a beaver. God. Did Julie like that or was she making fun of it?
Oh, she was making fun of it.
Okay, good.
She's also been very disappointed with book talk lately.
Yeah, I bet. Luckily, so I haven't written down a single book from book talk yet. I have written down other books from the people that I know are good and actual smart when it comes to reviewing and recommending. Terrible though. Avoid book talk at all costs.
Truly.
But welcome everybody. Episode I had a stroke. Welcome to Your Ridiculous episode 126.
Woo!
Got through it. There we go. Last week, I'm your host. First of all, I got so much book talk smut on the brain now. It's clogging my thought passageways. I'm your host, Luke. One of your hosts, as always. You're with me, Wolf. You're here.
That's me.
That's you.
Hanging on.
Hey, barely. I'm barely hanging on. Last week we talked about DLCs.
We did indeed.
Specifically, I guess with a nod towards Elden Ring, because that was the one that everyone was hyped about.
Yeah.
And the hype died very quickly.
Yeah, I think it's like the curse because not that many people actually play it.
Right. Wait, the Elden Ring or the DLCs?
The DLC, or like they get it because they want to try it, but they don't stick with it because it's hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. Elden Ring was a hard game to begin with.
Yeah.
All those From Software games tend to be a bit tricky. And like a lot of people, even if they love the game, they often don't buy the DLCs because they're expensive.
Yeah.
For just more content and not just like a new game. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
We already went over it.
We already went over it. You got to listen to it. You've already listened to it, probably.
Yes, you should have.
You loved it.
Who skips episodes?
You're here again because you loved the last one. This time, though, we're talking about Sweet Tooth.
Yeah!
I had to read it again because I almost called it Toothless. Which apparently is not the name of the show.
And calling it that just to spite me.
Well, the first couple times it was an accident. Now it's just to spite you. So let's dive right in. Well, you asked if we could do an episode on this because you had it recommended to you.
I did indeed. Recommended to me by a friend, and I gave it a look. The description sounds wild. It's a hard to describe show, but then you get into it, it's really fucking good. Weirdly good for the premise, for everything going on.
Yeah, this show originally it was on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. Originally came out in 2021, which will be relevant to a story that I have later.
No.
But why don't we dive right into it? What is Sweet Tooth?
Sweet Tooth is a post-apocalyptic story set in a universe where suddenly suddenly all the children born after a certain point were born as hybrids. And so they have like animal ears and tails, they act sort of like animals, and some of them look just like animals. Some of them.
There's varying degrees of how hybrid they are. Yeah.
We focus in on Gus. He's a deer boy. And they call him Sweet Tooth because he really likes maple syrup. Mm-hmm. And the story follows him trying to maneuver this world he has been like sheltered from for like the past 11 years, I think. He's 11 years old.
I think he's 10 at the start.
10.
Yeah.
And his quest to find his mother.
Birdie, who is not a hybrid.
He's not. She's not.
Which is kind of... they probably did that on purpose.
Yeah. I'll wait till you get to that part.
Oh, really? Is there a whole part? So I finished season 1.
Okay, nice.
I got through all season 1, and I just started episode 1 of season 2.
Oh,
but
you're hooked.
I'm not all the way through it. So, but how far are you? How far are you?
I think I'm midway through season 2.
Okay, cool. So we're
slightly
not too
over
far
midway.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, let's dive right in. What'd you think?
Oh, I loved it. Oh my goodness. The CGI, a little weird looking. You just gotta squint at it, but like it is weirdly well written. I like the like hints it's dropping, and like I had to text my live reactions to Julia because you weren't watching it yet. I'm like, it's like both sciencey, but it's also like paranormal, and you're like trying to figure out where the line is drawn.
Yeah, I agree.
I like all the characters.
We'll get into that in a second. I have thoughts about some of the characters. I do agree, though, it is strangely well written, and I mean that as a compliment. But so obviously this has been out for a few years, and I've seen it on Netflix. I've never once thought to watch it.
Yeah,
I've seen it around. I'm just like, this looks dumb. I'm moving on. I didn't read the description. I went solely based on the name and the little card graphic on when you click it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, this is not something I'm watching. But I watched it, and yeah, it's very well written. All the characters, their conversations feel real, which I think is actually really hard to do, but shouldn't be.
Yeah, especially in the setting we're in, which is like, it feels peak fantastical, and yet it's really grounded.
Yeah, it is. And like, it's very believable from both sides that, like the last men point where people's like don't understand the hybrids and the sick that they call it, and they both came at the same time. So you have this sort of like almost cult behavior to them.
Yeah.
That they want to sort of wipe out the hybrids and hope that the sick goes away with it. And then you have the other people that obviously are fighting for, the rights because they are human, so they should be, allowed to live among them.
Yeah.
And all the primary characters are all really well written as well, from their distrust and the backstory that involves that distrust.
Yeah.
Which is really, and also Gus's naivete.
Oh, indeed.
Both
Gus.
both being sheltered from the world, as you said, but also his sort of just do-gooded heart and nature about him.
Yeah, it's very hopeful, and that hopefulness makes his travel companions worry.
Yeah, it definitely causes some issues. I was laughing when you were describing the show because I didn't realize episode 3 is called Weird Deer Shit. And that's my favorite quote that Big Man says. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, don't do any weird deer shit.
And he's always doing weird deer shit.
He's always doing weird deer shit. All right, so let's go right into the characters, because that's obviously the most compelling part. We like Gus, yeah?
Yeah. Gus is great.
Gus is great. My only issue so far with Gus is that he has the trope that a lot of TV shows are doing of causing their own problems.
Yeah, he does that.
And then needing to fix them on their own. So the episode ends up being a problem that was caused by mostly Gus. And then the whole group needs to fix it. And this is like pretty iconic with like American Dad and sometimes Rick and Morty, oftentimes Family Guy. A lot of the like adult cartoons do this. And it was surprising to see it here, but it works really well here because all the stuff that they're getting into is believable.
Yeah.
It's like Gus messes up trying to help someone and then ends up getting like caught by last men or whatever. And it's not like, Family Guy where like, Peter kills God or something.
Yeah. It's like, it's his fault, but it's not ridiculous. You're not looking at him like, why would you do that? Or like, are you out of your mind? It's just like, oh, fuck.
Right.
That was on him, but damn. Probably would have fucked up too.
Yeah, it all makes sense of what they're doing. So that's like I keep yelling at the TV or like the screen when I'm watching. It's like, Gus, you dumb shit. But I can't blame him. He's only 10.
The train one had me so stressed. That was on jeopardy. But I'm like, you guys are going so slow for what you're doing. You're committing crimes in broad daylight. Just give it a sniff. Oh, what's this? Asking questions. Just do it. Leave. Get on the train. Why are you just standing at the exit? And you just had to get in there, and would have drove off without him.
The train episode had some of the worst CGI in the show. The CGI is like not bad. It's not Marvel bad, Marvel had some string of awful CGI. This is just kind of like, oh yeah, I can see that that's clearly fake.
Yeah.
But it like doesn't really matter. There was one I think in maybe episode 2 where they go to the cabin.
Yeah.
And meet that family there, where it's like Gus is in front of the cabin and he looks like a giant. Like the perspective is so off. It was awful. But the rest of it is just like you said, you kind of just got to squint and it's fine.
Yeah, it's an older show. 2021.
2021. Although it's still leagues ahead of Marvel, like we said.
Yeah.
Marvel is just, I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
At worst, it does just look like they're wearing like an actual like piece, even though they're usually not.
Gus's actually looks really good.
Yeah.
Like obviously his is the most simple of the like hybrids, but all of like I haven't noticed anything bad about it. None of the antlers are moving, like coming loose or something.
Yeah.
The ears are wiggling at appropriate times and all that stuff. Although we got to talk about fucking Bobby, the motherfucking horror show.
Bobby, he just looks like that. I guess it's never talked about.
He's on the opposite spectrum of Gus, where he's like 90% animal and 10% human.
Yeah.
I love him though. He's a horror show, but I love him.
Can't look away.
What a little cute little guy. Cute in the ugliest way possible.
I'm a little deeper in the show than you, but it's fascinating. We finally get season 2 is kind of dedicated to the hybrids. You get to see a lot more of them. You get to see more variety of them because Wendy's mom, she has like that zoo and she keeps them all.
Zoo? It's a preserve.
The preserve.
It's a safety thing, not a fucking zoo.
They live at the zoo.
Well, yeah, it was a zoo.
And it's great. It's like you see how people were like really comfortable with just like mass murdering all these hybrids. Some of them, they do just look like straight up talking animals. Right. But then another aspect of it, which is like why Gus keeps being the exception, is that they can't talk. But I think, and it's funny because the reason they can't talk isn't because they're half animal. It's because they're feral children, because they're being abandoned at a young age. And when you don't teach a child to talk early enough, they just can't for the rest of their life.
Yeah, they don't. The brain doesn't learn the developmental skills to actually communicate.
Yeah,
and a lot of the people in the show just abandoned them, or left them on some side of the road or whatever, just didn't want anything to do with them.
Yeah,
and so most of them can't actually communicate. Unlike right now, at least where I am, we only have Wendy and Gus who can really do the thing.
I have beef with Wendy's design.
Oh?
Why are her ears hairless? She's a pig. Pigs have hair on their ears.
Not all pigs.
What?
Yeah. I don't believe this. We had farm pigs that were fairly hairless.
What?
I mean, they have some hair obviously on their body, but most of their head was clear of hair.
Everything I know is a lie.
I mean, I'm not saying you still could be right. It obviously depends on, the type of pig. But I think the real reason is they wanted to make Wendy cute.
Perhaps
they want to make the primary hybrids attractive to look at. Not like that, but want to make it nice to look at. Because the picture I'm going to send you now, the final episode shows all the people from the zoo hugging Gus.
Yeah.
Did you fucking see the elephant kid?
Yeah,
He looked like that dolphin meme with gigantic ears. It was horrifying. It was astounding how awful that, just creepy that looked. And I'm not even saying it's bad makeup or bad CGI. I'm just this design is bad.
The chameleon kid looked better, and I feel like that's harder to pull off.
The chameleon kid looked really convincing.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
The alligator one. Wait, have you seen the alligator?
No.
Okay, never mind.
I want to see the turtle guy. I don't know if we get to see him. But she's always mentioning this turtle that's so slow.
She is.
I want to see him. I hope sometime we get to see him.
He looks disappointingly normal.
That's unfortunate. No shell. So you like Bear.
I do like Bear.
Which is also kind of funny because Bear is not a hybrid.
Oh, she's not.
Bear is just a human woman.
Her persona is a bear.
That's right. Did you like the Fursona army?
Oh, they were great until they weren't.
Until they fucking, committed mutiny.
It is actually so funny. They're like, oh, animal rights, hybrid rights, and then they have a tiger locked in a container for their entertainment.
That they use as a fucking gladiatorial execution.
Like, okay, we've lost the plot here.
This doesn't seem, something isn't adding up. The math is not mathing. It was
weird how high tech their like joint was with all like the VR stuff.
And what were they were like training. This is like a military operation inside some rundown arcade. They're like using the tech to like simulate military strategies and takedowns and everything. I'm like, what is going on?
You know, like 30 feet away, people are living in poverty.
Did you like when, so there was like one, like the intro showed them playing the VR, and it was like, tiger, use your ultimate attack, and it just like runs a tiger down this like fucking bridge and mows people down. Like, what's going on? I thought, when I saw that, the high tech stuff, I thought that was going to be like way more relevant to the show.
It wasn't, apparently.
It was not. It never showed up again. And why, like, they have to use like a flashlight. They have to like rotor charge.
Yeah.
And then like that place just has like the most insane tech.
That's where all the electricity is going.
So what do you like about Bear?
I don't know. She's moving. She's the only real one among the animal army in which they're like, she's true to their values.
That's fair. Well, half of them wanted to like go with Bear.
They did.
They didn't go with her because I think they probably all died, but
slaughtered
from the coup that Tiger staged.
She's weird about what's his face, Gus. But as you progress more, weirdly, everyone they come across is weird about Gus.
Everyone.
So I think I'm just letting it slide for her.
She's like weird in like if it feels like if Gus was old enough to be her crush, that's what it feels like.
What?
Yeah, it feels like it feels incestuous. I'll say that's what I get that like the uncomfortable feeling from their relationship.
She's a boy mom.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't. It really is boy mom. I'm just not a fan. It's not so much as her character. It's just the relationship that they're showing.
Perhaps.
That I
haven't seen her in a bit.
Yeah, I'm not jiving with. So it's like kind of uncomfortable.
She's like going full pick-me mode between like her and Jeopard. And I'm like, at a certain level, she hasn't earned that right to be like, Gus, pick me over Jeopard, the guy who's been helping you in the first place.
Yeah, Bear hasn't done shit for Gus.
Bear almost ruined everything.
Bear wanted to kill Jeopard. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of. Well, yeah, something about Bear gives me the ick. What about Jeopard? What about Big Man? What do you think of him?
Oh, Jeopard's great.
I love Jeopard. We're a big Jeopard fan in this house.
Did you watch his backstory yet?
With the baby?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's a great backstory.
So good. Where has the goat kid?
Yeah. Oh my god, I thought they were gonna leave it at like him just leaving and walking out, but then he changes his mind, but they're already dead. He
went back and they're actually dead? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. I kind of assumed, but all he said, well, because he told the story to Gus, and he just said they were gone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, they're probably dead. Obviously, you never know in things like this, but that makes sense that they're definitely just fucking dead.
Yeah, they got yoinked by the government and executed. I think burned, because it hasn't been that, as I've already explained, it hasn't been that long since that happened, but when like he sees them, they're skeletons.
Yep. That's fair. They probably were burned. Well, because they're burning everything else to do with this, like all the flowers and stuff, so makes sense. Not that surprising. I kind of assumed.
Executed 90% of the population and blamed it on the sick.
Well, that's just like what Fallout did, right? They like created the Fallout just to sell the vaults.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, nuclear fallout's here. Buy one of our vaults. Anyways, let's go to my favorite character. Well, one of my favorite characters besides Jeopard. Dr. Singh.
I didn't think that was what you were going to say.
I love him. I don't know why. I just think I really like him. I'm not a huge fan of the wife. The wife's kind of whatever. Yeah. It's not her specifically. It's just like they haven't developed the character enough.
Yeah.
For me to like care about her. However, I love his character. Like his devotion to his wife is really moving. He's real in his fear about why he wanted to work as a doctor and then why he left being a doctor, and his fear returning because he doesn't really have a choice. And he's just an all-around believable character to enjoy.
Now he's got to be a mad scientist.
Now he's going against all of the things that he believes in.
Yeah.
To help out his wife, which he kind of didn't want to do. Not that they didn't want to help, but he didn't want to like sacrifice what they believed in. But now he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah. I have a growing frustration with the wife.
Oh, really? Is she gonna like? I'm guessing she like keeps on pushing him to do more and more things he doesn't want to do. Something like that. Yeah. I was already low on the wife. Now I'm gonna get even lower. It seems.
I was feeling her for a bit, but I was like, hold on a second, lady. You're pissing me off now. Go sit down.
Go be sick somewhere else.
Got that guy executed at his own party.
Oh, I know. Immediately. And as her pinky is twitching.
She's like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. It was not fine.
It was not fine. How did that watch, by the way, not believe that the sick was originating from their house when the plants were just all up in it?
Right? It's right. The evidence is right there.
Yeah. Who else do we have? We have the mom. I don't know her name.
Birdie.
No. The zoo mom.
Oh, I forget her name too.
Yeah, Dr. something. She's a psychiatrist or what?
Yeah.
She's just fine for me.
She's alright.
Yeah, I'm not like super invested in the storyline with her. Amy Eden is her name.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Eden. She's just fine. I like that she kind of, the story of her kind of going through the motions of life and not really fitting in anywhere, and then finding her place, post-apocalypse. But she's just okay. I
feel like she doesn't have a purpose, but they're trying very hard to give her one. In later episodes.
Right now, it feels like they wanted to do the preserved story and they wrote this character retroactively.
Yeah.
Not that it's bad, it's just like, I'm just not that invested in the character.
Who's great? Oh.
Who is?
You finish.
I was just going to say Wendy's kind of the same way.
I see.
I don't really care. They're kind of a package deal.
Oh, wait till you find out things about Wendy.
Well, she's the sister.
Oh, you're at that part.
Yeah, that was the finale of season 1. You find out about stuff.
Yeah,
she's the sister of Bear.
What a happy coincidence.
I know, right? I was thinking that, wow, there's so much stuff that's because it all kind of takes place in a contained area, at least this storyline, but it's still pretty big that all these characters are interconnected.
Yeah, there might not be that many people left, but even that coincidence is a bit of a stretch.
Right. And how you see how Dr. Singh convinced Big Man to go back up.
Yeah.
That was just a nice little touch. They probably won't really realistically meet again in any significant capacity. Things could change obviously, but that just a little touch there about connecting the characters was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I like that. It was really simple.
Oh, he was so casual about it too, Dr. Singh. He's like, "Oh, what kind is it?" Knowing they're about to execute that thing in the fire pit.
Right. Yeah. Didn't want anything to do with it. What kind is it? Who are you saying?
The guy, I forget his name. The villain.
General Abbott.
General Abbott, who vaguely reminds me of Dr. Eggman.
Vaguely? I'm gonna they're basing this entire guy around Eggman. What do you mean? This is literally Dr. Eggman.
Oh, man. Okay, good. I didn't want to sell it too hard.
100%. You were completely... I thought the same thing. Definitely
he's great.
Sell it, because you're right. Yeah, he is. this is a character so far that is like, I'm pretty invested in because I want to know why everyone is afraid of him, other than just that he's the leader of the army, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's obviously scary to begin with, but like, people are terrified of this guy.
Shaking in their boots.
Right. I want to know, or I want to see, I want actual, like, see why they're so scared of him. Because, like, nobody, like, messes with this guy. And he's just, like, he's barely more than a twink. He's just a bearded twink, right?
He is. An otter,
so
if you will.
I'm really kind of interested in him. I like him.
Yeah, I'm interested in, like, we're probably not going to get deep into it, but the big three and the implication that there's, like, 2 other really well-developed societies that we just haven't seen in this post-apocalypse.
I bet there's some crossover maybe in season 3 or maybe if they're doing a following one.
Yeah. At least one of them.
Because Lost, this was years ago, but Lost had different groups, and eventually 2 of the groups merged, and it did not go well.
I bet. Never does.
They did not like it. And there was a book that a lot of people had to read in high school, like as like our middle school. It's at least in the East Coast.
Yeah.
It was like City of Embers or something, where, you know, people, there's like an underground race of people and above ground race of people, and eventually they end up mixing. Also does not go well. never goes well.
Can't be mixing your streams.
That's crossing the streams. Yeah, I hope they do some sort of mix there.
Yeah. You're probably coming up on the episode, but there's a great one that's like General Abbott focused, but also like wife focused. What's her name? The wife.
Yeah, the wife. That's her name. Mrs. Singh.
Mrs. Singh.
I don't. I'm trying to find it, but she's not. I can't see her. Rainie.
Rainie. Yeah.
There we go.
I think that's when you learn the most about the general and his dynamic with the second in command general.
Look at what is it,
Donnie, maybe
something like it's Johnny Abbott. Oh,
Johnny.
They're related.
Oh yeah, they are.
Okay, I didn't know that. Look at this, by the way. Look at this is like a repetition of when Google just told me like 5 different names for Spider-Man when I looked up actors. Look at this one. So we have Rainie Singh and then Mrs. Who is Mrs.? That's the character name, Mrs. God. Useless.
Maybe I can't even guess. I guess maybe the old lady, the original doctor.
No, that's somebody. No, we have that's Sarah. That's Dr. Gladys Bell, played by Sarah Pierce. So it's not the original one. Anyways, we don't care about Mrs. I also really think that the narrator adds a lot to the show.
Yeah, usually they don't, but he's good.
Yeah, I think they don't. What do you think that other like narrators miss?
Maybe, I think usually the narrators are disembodied, so they're irrelevant to the story, but I don't think this one is disembodied. Like, he doesn't say it outright, but he does say, like, things we had to do in this next chapter of the story. I'm like, oh, you're one of the characters you were looking at in the future.
Yeah, I didn't notice that watching, but now that you pointed it out, it does feel like this is someone that we'll eventually meet, and it feels like the narrator is almost telling it as like a retelling.
Yeah.
Like he experienced it, almost.
You know what it is?
Gus,
this narrator has a side. Oh, no. I do think it might be Gus. Julia thought it was Gus. But this narrator picks a side. Usually they're like, what's the word? They're like omnipotent, objective narrators.
Impartial.
But this one, he's like, he's kind of like, fuck this General Abbott guy. And he's rooting very clearly for Gus's group.
Yeah. I also think this narrator, the narrator is James Brolin, adds a lot of emotion to what he's saying. And that hooks you in.
Yeah.
Like, it continues with what we were saying before, that the writing is believable. This character, the narrator, what they're saying is believable. I pay attention to like what the narrator's saying, and in other ones I don't give a fuck. Like I'll skip through the narrator. I don't give a shit.
He's just saying words. He's just showing us what's on screen. This narrator's got stuff to add. This isn't exactly what he says, but to paraphrase, he's like, sometimes life dicks you over, and sometimes things work out.
It's true, you're right. Like, and that's not even that far away from like what he says.
Yeah, and then the Sigs get saved. I'm like, oh, it's over for them. No trial. Once again, they just burned them.
Yeah. Last sort of main character that we have to mention. I love Pubba.
Oh yeah.
I was emotionally distraught when he got the sick.
Yeah.
I knew the second he like put Gus under the stairs and left, we're never seeing him again.
When Pubba got the sick, I was like, that's where I started wondering if there was like a supernatural element to it. Because the first person he runs into in years, and he immediately catches the sick.
Yeah, it was. I'm like, I don't know what it was, but this guy just like roped me in from the start. I was hooked. I'm like, I love this guy, but I know things are going to end poorly for him.
You were his number one.
Pubba's number one fan.
I have my critiques of him.
You have what?
He critiques 11 years, and he didn't 10 years, and he didn't teach his son shit.
He didn't know shit.
Perhaps not.
He didn't really know anything.
He knew how to make the maple syrup, and he did not pass that knowledge on.
Well, no, because Jeopard says you have to teach me how to make maple syrup, and he's like, we need maple trees. That's
all he knows.
Well, okay.
There's more to it than that.
Yeah, well, okay, to be fair, Papa thought he would have the time. And maybe teaching, like, sugaring, tapping trees, as someone who's done it, it's not the easiest thing. I'm not saying he couldn't have, because he definitely had the time.
Yeah.
But, I could see him wanting to wait till he was like 12 or 14. But he didn't really have anything to tell Gus about Birdie.
He didn't. He kept it all hidden.
Because, when you watch that flashback, that was a really good flashback episode.
It was.
When you watch it, it just like, there really is, like, it all happened in a night.
Yeah, he fell head over heels for this woman and then gave her everything.
And then just got, it just a circumstance thrust upon him that he had to deal with. And there really was nothing that he could have told Gus to prepare him. It was like, yeah, I didn't ever know your mom and I'm not your dad.
Yeah.
Like,
we weren't even in a relationship.
Say that, right? I met your mom once. I'm not your dad. You were grown in a lab. Goodbye.
Yeah, listen, it'd be like that.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite episode?
It all kind of blurs together.
All right, I'll tell you mine, and then maybe you'll think of one. So my favorite was probably the flashback episode, just because it brought Pubba back. I also quite liked the finale. I thought that was a really good finale, because it sets up season 2 really well and answers a lot of questions from throughout the season. But it's not like a insanely dramatic finale that like they're not trying too hard with the finale.
Yeah.
They're making it interesting and they're answering a lot of your questions, but they're not going over the top.
I think it's either episode 4 or 5 for me. I forget where, because it has the dinner scene. They do it like a dinner scene with General Abbott, the brother, Johnny, and the 2 Sings.
Yep.
And that as a whole is really interesting. We see like Gus interacting with General Abbott. They have Gus reckoning with like the mistakes he's made that he's learned from Pubba with the other hybrid kids. Like how the last thing Pubba told him is sometimes it's okay to lie.
I also like the evolution of Gus realizing that like Pubba wasn't perfect and Pubba didn't know everything.
Yeah.
Like that every kid grows up thinking that like they're idolizing their, maybe not every kid, but most kids idolize their parents and think they're, know everything and they're always right and stuff. And then there's some time when you grow up and you realize that's not the case. And I feel like Gus, obviously, with his own circumstances, kind of figured that out pretty quickly. Not that Pubba really has any faults, but he's like, okay, like Pubba can only teach me so much.
Yeah.
Well, he's dead, so he's not teaching anything.
Listen, you can talk to him in the spirit realm.
That was hallucinogenic flowers.
Yeah. Listen, only partially. There's definitely something supernatural going on.
There's got to be something, right? Because like that wasn't a hallucination. That was literally like actual spirit realm shit.
Yeah. And then wait, no, that's a spoiler. Never mind.
Okay, we'll circle back to that. Final thoughts on season 1?
Oh, great season. Really strong ending to the season, and season 2 is even better. Definitely watch this before Netflix hides it away again. I
will say that almost every episode was like better than the last.
Yeah.
Like and not saying that like episode 4 was better than episode 3, but watching episode 4 made the show better. Like every time you watched one episode, it progressively got better.
Yeah.
Just as like as a collective show. I'm like, wow, this like is really good.
The episodes like they build on each other.
Right. In a very satisfying way. I'm a big fan. We're going to be doing at least one more episode on Sweet Tooth, maybe 2.
Ooh.
Depending on how quickly I watch the next seasons.
Taking your time.
Well, I got other stuff to watch and read.
Yeah, you're a big reader now. Lost you.
That's right. All right. Well, we have a question of the week from Rain. What is it?
This week's question of the week is, if you could bring back one thing from the 80s or 90s, what would it be?
Why don't you start us off?
I'd bring back internet forums. No contest, no thinking about it. That's what I want back.
Really?
I want everyone to go back to being in their own pocket of the internet instead of us all having to share one fucking website. I'm sick of seeing all your takes. I'm sick of seeing everyone else's stupid takes.
I did not expect that, but I think it's a quality choice.
I got one taste of them in like middle school and then they were gone.
So does Reddit not do it for you?
No.
Because that's the closest version we have, I would say.
Yeah, maybe it's Reddit's community, or maybe it's a setup, but it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same, and a lot of Reddit is just a cesspit of garbage. But some of the things are actually helpful in like quality.
Yeah.
But I agree, they're not the same as the old internet forums. So that's a fair one. You could have given me 100 guesses and never would have.
Keeping you on your feet.
That's right. I want to bring back the quality of movies that the 80s had.
Ooh.
The 80s had so many bangers. And just the average show in modern times, or movie in modern times, garbage.
Yeah.
There's not that many like movies that are actually like top tier. There's a lot of filth and a lot of just garbage, but the 80s, it had multiple Star Wars movies, multiple Indiana Jones, it had action movies, it had Top Gun, it had Legends, Say Anything, it had The Breakfast Club and E.T., Back to the Future, The Goonies, The Shining, it had My Neighbor Totoro.
I haven't watched any of these.
You haven't seen My Neighbor Totoro?
I haven't. It's like the one Ghibli one I haven't seen.
Oh, really? What about have you seen The Breakfast Club?
No. I've seen the parodies.
Okay, The Lost Boys?
No.
What? Have you seen Die Hard?
No.
I cannot believe you.
I've seen the third one.
Dune?
No.
The original Dune, not the new one.
Nope.
What? What are you? A Full Metal Jacket?
No.
Platoon?
No.
That's where Robert Downey Jr. had blackface on. That's a classic.
I've probably seen like GIFs of all these. They're apparently really good.
Clips and GIFs and all that stuff.
But yeah, I've never watched them. Too old, I guess.
Moonwalker. It was Michael Jackson's movie.
I don't even know what that one is.
That one not so good, but that one is just funny. Footloose?
No. I think I've seen the remake, or no, I've seen Step Up, which is like Footloose.
There's no way you just made that comparison.
There are the same genre of movie.
There's just dancing involved. They're not all the same.
I'm pretty sure it's either the first or second Step Up. It's literally the plot of Footloose, but modernized.
Speaking of Step Up, have you seen Stomp the Yard?
No, wait, yes. Like I was really young, though.
That's like a 2000s banger. That movie is so good. It's like trash, but it's so good.
I got vague memories of it.
Yeah, it's great. I loved it. I want the return of actual good movies from the 80s.
A new renaissance.
The Karate Kid?
No, I only saw the Jaden Smith one.
Oh, God. That was not even close. Beverly Hills Cops?
No.
With Eddie Murphy?
Nope.
Crocodile Dundee?
Nope.
All right, wrap it up. I'm done with you. Take it away, Wolf. I'm done.
I'm Wolf, taking things away. Thank you for watching episode 126 of You're Ridiculous.
Woo.
If you liked all that, be sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get notified of the next episode. If you're watching on a podcast website, hit the plus and give us 5 stars to support the show. You can follow us across the internet, the main cast at ridiculous_cast on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can follow Lucas at 7angry to the knee, and you can follow me at Rainbow Does without the W. We hope to see you guys all again next week, but until then, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.